A single promise changed 3 lives forever. When the young caregiver stepped through the front door of the quiet estate, she looked the wealthy businessman in the eye and softly said, "I'm only here to care for your mother." She believed she would stay for a few weeks, collect her paycheck, and leave without looking back. She never imagined that one act of kindness would uncover long-buried family wounds, restore broken hearts, and give her a place she never expected to call home. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps our family and our community continue sharing emotional stories that inspire hope. Clara Whitmore had spent most of her adult life caring for elderly people. She had no luxurious apartment, no expensive car, and no family waiting for her after work. What she possessed was something far more valuable: patience, compassion, and the ability to make lonely people smile again. After the nursing agency assigned her to care for Eleanor Ashcroft, she expected another ordinary job. Instead, she arrived at one of the largest homes she had ever seen, owned by Eleanor's only son, Graham Ashcroft, the successful CEO of a global technology company. Graham had everything money could buy except the one thing his mother wanted most: his time. Every morning Graham left before breakfast and returned only briefly during the day to check paperwork before rushing away again. His assistants handled almost every detail of his life, yet none of them could fill the empty chair beside his mother's window. Eleanor rarely complained, but Clara noticed the sadness hidden behind every smile. The older woman often watched the driveway, hoping each passing car belonged to her son. Rather than focusing only on medicine schedules and meals, Clara transformed the house into a place that felt alive again. She filled the dining room with fresh flowers from the garden, encouraged Eleanor to paint once more, and convinced her to sit outside beneath the warm afternoon sun. They laughed while baking simple pastries, feeding birds, and sharing stories about childhood dreams. Slowly, Eleanor's health began improving, not because of expensive treatments, but because someone genuinely cared enough to listen. Graham noticed the change immediately. His mother laughed more often than she had in years. The doctors were surprised by her renewed energy. Curious, Graham watched from a distance as Clara patiently helped Eleanor practice walking around the garden without making her feel weak or dependent. He admired Clara's quiet strength but convinced himself it was simply professionalism. One afternoon Graham overheard his mother telling Clara that the greatest pain in life was not growing old but watching people become strangers while living under the same roof. Those words struck him harder than any business failure ever had. He realized she wasn't speaking only about herself. She was speaking about him. Determined to change, Graham began spending part of every afternoon at home. At first the conversations felt awkward. Years of emotional distance could not disappear overnight. Clara never forced them together. Instead, she created small opportunities. She suggested afternoon tea in the garden. She organized old family photographs on the dining table. She encouraged Eleanor to tell stories from Graham's childhood that even he had forgotten. Slowly, uncomfortable silence became genuine laughter. Just as happiness returned to the household, trouble arrived unexpectedly. Graham's business partners demanded that he relocate overseas immediately to save an important international merger. They warned him that delaying the move could cost millions. At the same time, Eleanor suffered a serious setback that required constant attention. Graham faced an impossible choice between protecting the company he had spent decades building or remaining beside his mother when she needed him most. Believing she was helping, Clara quietly prepared her resignation. She thought Graham deserved someone with more experience while he handled the crisis. Before leaving, she placed a handwritten note on the kitchen table thanking Eleanor for reminding her what family truly meant. She packed her small suitcase and walked toward the front gate. Eleanor saw her through the window and became overwhelmed with emotion. Graham returned home that afternoon to find his mother in tears, clutching Clara's note. For the first time in years, Graham ignored every business call. He drove through the nearby town searching for Clara until he found her sitting alone on a park bench, waiting for the evening bus. Clara admitted she had grown too attached to the family and feared staying would only make saying goodbye even harder. Graham finally confessed something he had struggled to admit even to himself. Clara had not only cared for his mother. She had reminded him how to care about people again. Success had made him wealthy but emotionally bankrupt, and her kindness had rescued him from a life that looked perfect from the outside yet felt painfully empty within. Instead of accepting the overseas promotion immediately, Graham appointed a trusted executive to manage the project while he remained home during his mother's recovery. The decision shocked the business world, but it gave him something no amount of money could ever replace: precious time with the woman who had sacrificed everything to raise him. Months passed beneath bright afternoon skies. Eleanor regained enough strength to enjoy walks through the blooming gardens again. Clara stayed, not because of a contract, but because the house no longer felt like a workplace. It had become a family. Graham and Clara gradually built a relationship founded on honesty, gratitude, and shared compassion rather than wealth or appearances. Their love grew naturally as they cared together for the person who had unknowingly brought them together. One sunny afternoon, surrounded by flowers and laughter, Graham asked Clara to remain in their lives forever. Eleanor smiled through joyful tears as Clara accepted. The mansion that had once echoed with loneliness was finally filled with warmth, hope, and the comforting sound of people who truly belonged to one another. Before this story ends, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced the kindness of someone who wasn't family but ended up changing your life forever? Leave a meaningful comment below and share your experience with our community. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember, sometimes the people who enter our lives saying they are only there to do a job become the very people who teach us the true meaning of love, family, forgiveness, and home.